In today's video, I'll show you creative ways to use MIDI files to make music or just find some inspiration. If you've got a case of writer's block, beat block, or just need to add some fresh chords or sounds, samples and MIDI files can help. And I'm giving away a sample and MIDI pack to celebrate my 150,000 subscriber milestone. It's a thank you to you all. You can download it using the link in the video description. And here's the best part. This sound pack is going to be free to my subscribers for the next 2 days. So get it free while you can. But wait, keep watching because these few tips will help you get the most out of my MIDI pack and others you may own. If you're new around here, I'm Sanjay C. I have tons of videos on my channel about music production and gear reviews. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. I always get straight to the point in my videos and reviews. Let's get started. First of all, Aurora, the sample and MIDI pack I just released, is royalty-free. So make songs, make beats with it, release it on Spotify, whatever, it's yours. The pack contains 2 types of files, WAV files or samples, and MIDI files. For every WAV file, you'll find the MIDI file that corresponds to it. The WAV files are super easy to use, just drag them onto your DAW and play. I've recorded some chords and melodies using my vintage Juno 106 and a Prophet 6 synth. So they've got that full, lush sound, great for chords. The MIDI files are where you really want to dig in though. These can be used with any instrument, any plugin you have in your DAW. So just load up your favorite sound and drag the MIDI file onto your track. Done. No need to come up with an inspiring chord progression. I've done it for you. Let's try one of them out. And if you have some ideas for my next sample pack, leave them in the comments below. The Aurora sample pack is for constructing songs and for finding inspiration as well. So I've included the MIDI and the WAV files in here, so you can use them in any DAW and however you like. These are all handmade by me on my keyboard, so there's a bit of my personality in everything. Let's take this one for example. These have all been recorded at 105 beats per minute. If you do change your tempo, make sure in Ableton that you switch the warped mode to Complex Pro. So this is the dry version. If you look at the processed version, let's listen to that. And of course you can do the same thing with the melodies and ARPs. Let's choose an ARP. So if you find the ARP that goes along with these chords, just drag them over there. So in addition to time stretching, you can also change the key. If you want to change the key of this, you can just transpose. So you can do a lot of stuff with the WAV files themselves. But now let's look into the MIDI files, because this is where it gets really interesting. Here are the basics of using MIDI files, and then I'll share a few tips with you as well. I'm going to start by just loading a piano onto a MIDI track. So in your DAW, it might be called a software instrument track. All right, so just a simple piano. And now we're going to load one of the MIDI files. So let's go to the MIDI folder and let's load this file here in Newer. So now I've loaded a MIDI file, not a WAV file, into my DAW over this piano. Let's hear what this sounds like. So there you go. It's a simple piano chords and you can change them around if you need to. But now that we have the chords in place, let's change that piano to something else. I'm going to choose a pad, one of these pads from Ableton. So now instead of the piano, I've got this pad. That sounds cool, right? All right, we're already getting somewhere. Now here's a tip. Just because I gave you chords that hold for a long time doesn't mean that you can't do other stuff with it. So let's copy over my chord set again onto another MIDI track. And on this MIDI track, I'm gonna add a bell kind of sound. So let's look under mallets. I'll choose this one. And this time I'm going to add some MIDI effects to it, in particular an arpeggiator. And I'm gonna set this to 1/16 note. And how about raising the octave of this bell sound? I'm doing a Command A and a Shift up arrow, and that raises it 1 octave. Go back to my ARP and let's change this up to something. All right, it's getting exciting. Now let's add another track. I'm adding another MIDI track, and I'm gonna find the Aurora melody. Here it is. I'm gonna insert that onto this track. Now let's try Diva, and I've chosen the MK Frost piano to play this MIDI. So that already's starting to sound really nice, but let's not stop there. Here's another tip. Once you've laid down your chords, you can add some movement to them. In yesterday's news report, I actually recommended the Micro Finisher plugin by UJam, which is free, and let's add that to these long chords here. All right, there we go. And I'm gonna pick one of the presets. All right, now let's listen to those same chords. And I'm gonna apply this preset. Let's bring in the other instruments. Now we've got rhythm with these chords. So all we started with were the simple chord sets that I gave you. You didn't have to make them up yourself. And all we did was just add some instruments and then one effect to them so far. That's it. Effectrix is another really cool thing to add. Let's add this to our chords and see what it does. Just add some different type of movement to it. And speaking of movement, that's the other plugin I want to show you. That's by Output. You've used 2 of the MIDI files from my pack. One is playing the chords, the same chords again with the arpeggiator, and then the third file is just the melody, and all I did was add this nice little piano to it and drop in a beat. I can't wait to see what you guys come up with the Aurora Sound and MIDI pack. Don't be afraid to try some unconventional plugins with these too. You never know what you're gonna get. I hope you enjoy the Aurora sample pack, and I hope it helps you make the music you love. If you have some ideas for my next sample pack, leave it in the comments below, and then watch one of these videos. See you later.